Because face it, what have you been taught? Either to copy somebody else's format or to be able to, very mule like, name, date of birth, educational qualifications, extracurricular activities. It is a mechanically prepared document that you have somehow managed to conjure up, and you're airdropping it onto anyone who would be stupid enough to hire you. You're also counting on being at the right time, at the right place, and etc. All that gobbledygook. But if you really want to understand what a resume is, you have got to accept that a real resume is a portrait of you. It is a picture that goes beyond the lens. And to be able to create such a resume, you have to accept that the very creation, the very portrayal, the painting of this picture, that representative of you, has got to begin with a journey of self-discovery. That looks like it's it has exploded like a bomb over your head or something. Don't worry, it happens all the time. Okay, so how do we create this picture? How do we begin on this journey of self-discovery? First, we've got to realize no matter what picture you may paint, you may even create the most stunning resume, but eventually you have to accept that the resume really is you. It has to depict that initiative, and you have got to be the driving force of that resume. Okay, so just let's begin now with what would be the first step in this journey of self-discovery. I think it should begin with honesty, where you look at yourself and you try to go down memory's lane and see what it is honestly that you are capable of. Forget all the embellishments. Truthfully, what are your skills? What are your application methods? What is your vision? And you can even do this even before you start your first job. Then you go out searching for a prospective employer. Now, note that I use the word searching, because there's a saying that's doing the round now on Facebook, I think. It says, only losers wait for the right opportunity. Winners go out and create the opportunity. So all you have to do is to target which industry you want, then zero in on the few companies that you think you'll be able to flourish within and you'll be able to contribute to. Find the top management and then get ready to start making your CV. Now, here again, you remember that your CV is going to precede any possible appointment. In fact, it might be the main reason why you may or may not even get an appointment for an interview. So try to put yourself in the other guy's shoes. Someone like me, for example, I keep getting resumes every day, and they all look the same. But once in a blue moon, I would find a resume that kind of stands out. It's not written in that mechanical format. In fact, it is written in the form of a story. It has a picture that depicts the personality of this person, the applicant. So naturally, it kind of stands out. So I pick up that resume first, and I know there's something special about this person. Why? Because this person has taken the effort to differentiate himself or herself from the rest of the pack. I know I am possibly going to be meeting an independent thinker, someone who has a head of his own or her own, as the case may be. When I look through some of these resumes, these fantastic ones I'm talking about, very often I even find a small YouTube link. I get on the computer, I check out the link, and guess what? There's a Q&A that this guy has managed to rig up a camera in front of him, and he's answered the possible questions that I would have. And it's the kind of fade in, fade out. So it does give me a pretty good idea that this is not an ordinary applicant. So if you stay tuned, I'll show you, in fact, coming up after this, you'll be able to see a couple of applications or resumes that I have personally helped create for some of our young interns who showed that kind of spark, that enthusiasm. So remember, creating the first resume that is the best possible resume that makes you look competitive is all important. Then, now you got the great resume, you have your target, you're sending it to, let's say, someone like me. You don't get a call. You telephone, you get some hoity-toity HR manager, you know, the sort with the glasses up there, that looks at your paper, that, man, you don't have any experience, you know, that kind of, the double chin one. You know, so you got to realize that standing out from the pack doesn't necessarily put you in good stead. Oh yes, will it work in the long run? Absolutely. But what are the downsides to it? You're going to get some kind of HR manager like that who's going to look at this resume and think, oh my gosh, this is great. When I was this kid's age, I was never that creative. And that might work against him. Nonetheless, go right ahead. Make the best resume you can. Send it to the right channels. But if you don't get a reply, don't sit there twiddling your thumbs, waiting for the eclipse. Get on the phone, find the chief executive, and harass him or her till such time you get an appointment and, you know, resolve that you will either die or you will get an appointment with this person. That's the other part of your CV. Having a good photograph, a great portrayal of you, says nothing if you're not really that kind of person. You know, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but it's a competitive world. From two aspects. One, you're not the only person applying for the job. Two, you want in there and out of there as soon as possible, make your money, get out of this fucking rat race. That's what you want. So you're not going to get it by sitting down there and having this kind of passive attitude. You're going to have to create the best CV possible. Make sure it gets to the person, to the final decision maker. And lastly, you're going to ensure that when you go out, when you show up for the interview, you are well prepared. What do I mean by being well prepared? You got an interview. No one's going to call you and ask you to be at their office in 5 minutes. You generally have at least a day lead time. So do the decent thing. Don't waste your time and the time of the guy who's unfortunately going to have to sit in front of you and interview you if you haven't been bothered to check the prospective employer's website. Number one, make an effort to understand their business. Number two, try to jot down a few points that you will be able to talk about when you go for the interview to convince the other person that you and only you are the best fit for this company at this particular time. If you can't, I suggest you don't go for the interview. Remember, there are three important steps. Create the best resume that stands out, that pops, that suggests that you are not ordinary. Two, ensure you get in front of the decision maker, come hail or high water. And number three, when you go there, your job is not to grovel. Oh, please, may I have this job? I promise I'm going to be the hardest working son of a bitch that has ever lived. They couldn't be interested. They couldn't be fucking bothered, honestly. You are there at the point of sales. This is not the point of groveling. They are not on a mission of charity